Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Bible Study Tonight. Sorry about that technical glitch we had that got us started a little late. We've been having internet issues, actually equipment issues with our router, and all working now, both on Worshipify and on YouTube. And glad that you are here for, what do we got? Session number 18 of Proverbs tonight. I'm sitting down. Normally I'm in front of the screen, but with our technical issues, it was a little easier to do this. And this particular Bible study in Proverbs chapter 31, verses 10 through 31 works very well just to sit and look at you and bring up a few scriptures from time to time and carry those out. But very glad that you are here. I'd love for you to chat and say hello if you'd like to. And at the end of the broadcast, I'll say hi, whether you're on Worshipify or YouTube. Just go ahead and put in your hello. Tell us who you are, where you're from, and we'll be delighted for that. Glad to have a live studio audience tonight. We've got Luca, always here. We've got Juna from Charlotte, Vermont. We've got Natalie, I'll get it right here, from Katy, Texas. And we have Isaiah tonight, our minister of music, with us. And first time in the live studio audience. Glad he's here tonight. And welcome to each one of you from Taos, New Mexico, to across America and around the world. Let's get into Bible study tonight. Here we have been looking at Proverbs, these 18 weeks. We are probably going to finish the verse by verse tonight. We will have another session next week. And that session will be to go back through and test all of the assumptions that we have had through it and pull together a summary. I think you probably would agree with me. Proverbs has been woefully misused down through the years, has confused so many people because of its misuse down through the years. And maybe nothing has been misused out of Proverbs more than, what shall we say, more than Proverbs 31, especially the portion of Proverbs 31 that is about the what is often called the Proverbs 31 woman. And that starts in Proverbs chapter 31, verse 10. And I am sure, I preached about this, I don't know, it was about a little over a year ago. It was a year ago, Mother's Day. Maybe it was 2 years, I'm not sure. And had a sermon which was my first foray into looking at the book of Proverbs in a different light. And that, ever since then, I've been, churning it in my mind, waiting to come to this series, and now we've completed this series. But, in the past, Mother's Day, all the women, open up Proverbs 31 and let me beat you into the ground about how you're not that woman, because nobody is that woman, that Proverbs 31 woman. And we're going to talk about that. So, the book of Proverbs, all the way through, really is from Solomon to Rehoboam. My son, let me tell you, I'm the king, you're about to be the king, let me tell you what you need to do to be a good king. That's the book of Proverbs. And it takes a royal approach to looking at it, to comprehending it, to understanding it. Anything else you're going to apply and mess up. You get into Proverbs 30 and 31, slightly different, but not much. You have the prophecy of Agur in Proverbs 30 and the prophecy of Lemuel in Proverbs 31, a word that his mother gives to him, to Lemuel. We talked about that in the last couple of sessions, but still it's prophetic of, in fact, both chapter 30 and 31 say this is prophecy, the first verse. It's prophetic of what the nation is going to become. Now, in this, I want us to back up just a little bit for review in Proverbs chapter 31. Again, it's the words of King Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother taught him. And then the prophecy begins. What, my son? What? The son of my womb. So we talked about in verse 2 how shocked she was. Give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways which destroy the king. It is not for kings, O Lemuel. It is not for kings to drink wine, strong princes to drink. And he goes through, these don't do, don't do, don't do. And then he says in verse 8, open thy mouth for the dumb in the cause of all as such as appointed are to destruction. So it's this word in 8 and 9, a word about helping the oppressed. And then he comes and says, who can find, let me finish verse 9. Open thy mouth, judge righteously, plead the cause of the poor and needy. Now, having heard the word from mom, a word of chastisement, a prophetic word really about where the kingdom was going to go, mom then switches. The mother of Lemuel, we think Bathsheba, she switches and she begins to give, let's just say, unbelievable poetry that is given. When you and I read beginning in verse 10, who can find a virtuous woman? Her price is far above rubies. The heart of her husband does safely trust in her, so that he will have no need of spoil. And it goes on. It has a little bit of a poetic sense, but we don't see how much poetry is here. What we don't see, because we can't, unless we read Hebrew, is that this is an alphabetic acrostic. The Hebrew alphabet has 22 letters in it, and from Aleph to Tav. These A to Z, so to speak, there are a number of times, probably half a dozen, maybe even more than that, in the Psalms and in the Proverbs and a couple other places, where a biblical writer starts with A and works his way to Z, Aleph to Tav, and goes through the alphabet speaking good things about something. Now, this happens to be one of those. Most of our Bibles, the way they present it, don't even show it as an acrostic. Many times, even in the footnotes, it's not, there's nothing there that says, this happens to be an acrostic. It becomes very difficult to see it in the English page. And it would be very difficult. I'm sure somebody could do it, but it would be very difficult to take it and put it equivalent to the English language. One of the reasons it would be difficult is because we have 26 letters and they have 22 letters, and somebody would be left out, right? But it's something that we just can't see. Now, because it is alphabetic, going all the way through, acrostic, it ought to tell us this is given in a poetic way to give a complete picture, as we would sometimes even say, the A to Z. Let's give the A to Z. And so what I want us to do tonight is to check this out and see the A to Z. Now, I have given you an outline, and you're used to, of course, getting an outline from me. You notice if you went to printing this, it is much longer than the regular outline, because I didn't really know how to narrow it down without leaving you too much. As a matter of fact, the heart of this, beginning with the Aleph, is virtually the way it's going to be in the book, which will be available soon on Proverbs. And then there's some more things in the book as well. But I want us to walk down through this and see what we've got, A through Z, or Aleph through Tav, and we've got it again on your outline so that you're able to look at those. But let's just begin with the letter Aleph. By the way, if you're looking on your outline, you notice Aleph, the first letter, we have the equivalent A. Beit is the second letter, we have the equivalent B. Aleph Beit is where we get the word alphabet. Comes from Hebrew. The first two letters of Hebrew is the Aleph Beit, or the alphabet. Okay, starting here with Aleph is a question about this virtuous woman who can find. Her price is far above rubies. Now, The word that is given here, and I'm going to put the outline over here where you can actually see it. Here we go. The letter that is given here, the Aleph, is, I put the Hebrew for you there, and a literal translation. This is not the King James, but it is a literal translation. Says there, you notice, a woman of valor. A woman of valor. The first word is chayil, and that is the word there for valor. Now, valor, it really is a warrior word. It is, and we don't, I don't think we see this in the, even say in the King James, when you have a virtuous woman, you have what is given here is rather, I don't know, we have a different nuance from virtue to valor, right? We would use valor as a hero, a military term. You know, there's a soldier out there who expressed or displayed tremendous valor. We wouldn't always use that of a woman, but here it's used, and probably the reason it's translated virtue is because we think, you know, I don't know if that's the one here. Sometimes in virtue, we think of the prim and proper Victorian woman who comes very virtuous, very domesticated, very proper, very meek, and comes in a feminine type strength here. But the word that is used here is, hey, who can find a woman who will take the battle all the way if she needs to? She will stand for that which is right and that which is true. This is that word hayil that is given there. And so it goes on to say, hey, this strong, moral, virtuous Torah woman, her price is far above rubies. That goes all the way back. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 15 spoke of wisdom and how wisdom was more precious than rubies. This is the same deal. So let me tell you here, having given that little introduction, a virtuous woman who can find a virtuous woman or a woman of valor. It is mom. The king's mom, the queen mom, I guess we call her. The queen mom comes through, and she's talked to Solomon even about women, excuse me, don't give your strength to women. He said in verse, 3 or 4. She said in verse 3 or 4. And now she says, there is a woman that you really ought to look for, this woman of virtue. Then she's going to describe this woman of virtue. And the description of this woman of virtue is going to be the lady we have seen all the way through, which is Lady Lady Wisdom. You remember, Torah impersonated. So, or embodied, I guess we should say, Torah embodied. The embodiment of Torah is Lady Wisdom. Lady Wisdom seen on earth is Israel. So I think that what we've got is a picture of Israel when she becomes the embodiment of Lady Wisdom that we've seen all the way back from chapter 3. Lady Wisdom is the embodiment of Torah. That is to say, a woman of valor. Who can find a virtuous woman? Where do you find this virtuous woman? You look for Israel when she's obeying the law, and her price is far above rubies. Okay, so that is the Aleph there. Now let's go on into the Aleph and into the bait here. And here we go. The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. begins to obviously bring about the question, well, who in the world is her husband? Here is this virtuous woman of valor. Who's her husband? We could look through the scripture, of course, and I don't think, because we have 22 letters to go through, I don't think we have to. And I think you would immediately say, hey, this has got to be the Lord. It's got to be Yahweh. It's got to be their covenant relationship. God, God is the husband. Isaiah chapter 54, verse 5 would speak in that. In fact, let's just go ahead and look at Isaiah 54, 5. And yeah, here we go. I want to compare verse 11. Husband, thy maker is thine husband. The Lord of hosts is his name. Okay, so we have the first word here is to trust, really. Now, I know that this is not the first word in English. The heart of her husband doth trust in her. But in the poetic Hebrew, it's certainly the first word. And so as we go through, you might look and I'll say, okay, you know, the bait here is for, in this word, batach, he trusts. We'll say, wait, that's way down in the verse. Now, in the Hebrew, it is the very first word. He trusts. So it would be something much more like, he trusts in her, the husband, the heart of her husband, so that he hath no need of spoil. Okay, so the Lord is the husband here. Now, with the Lord being the husband here, it also goes on and it speaks of, right here, so that he shall have no need of spoil. That's interesting. She brings him the spoil. He has a gain. It's the language of conquest. It's the language of valor that continues to go through here. This is Israel. Okay, let's go on to the next verse is the Gimel, and this is verse 12. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. It gives us a reminder going all the way back to Eden, let's say, the Garden of Eden. And we think even perhaps of Eve. What did Eve do? Good or evil? She did evil, as did Adam. Their maker. They turned and did evil against their maker. They ate of the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil that they were not supposed to do. Now this is undone, or it's done right, the second time, I guess we should say. And she comes in and does him good, not evil. And she does it what? All the days of her life. Again, we see this idea or this picture that is coming forth of a woman in a covenant relationship. The woman is Israel when she's the one she is supposed to be, carrying this out. Let's go on to verse 13. She seeketh wool and flax, and worketh willingly with her hands. Okay, we've got here. Let me see here. I'll bring up on your notes verse 13. Here we go. The word here, darsha. You see it right there in the Hebrew, darsha. Now Hebrew you read backwards, right to left. She seeks wool and flax. She's going to get something of value and she's going to do something with it. She works willingly with her hands. This is not just, hey, it would be cool to make something. You know, maybe, I'll get myself in trouble here in a second. Most of the time today, if a woman is going to make something, she's going to crochet you some socks for Christmas. It's much more of a hobby. Very few women are clothing their family with the things that they make. Here is this picture that we've got. Okay, she, as you see there, she maketh. She takes the wool. She works with her hands willingly. She provides. It's this Torah obedience. Israel as a working nation. That's exactly what Israel was supposed to be. Okay, let's continue. And we get right here, verse 14. She is like the merchant ships. She bringeth her food from afar. Working our way down, we come to the fifth letter of the Hebrew alphabet with the merchant ships. Again, she has a Torah-informed global presence. Working down, each one of these is going to be one verse. So we'll just work at them kind of one by one here, not spending a lot of time on each of them. Verse 15. We get the sixth letter. It's the Vav. She riseth also while it is yet night, to giveth meat to her household and a portion to her maidens. Now, I want you to really see here. Well, one thing that I think is important: she riseth also while it is yet night and giveth meat to her household. Meat to her household. We don't read into this, but the actual word that is used is prey, P-R-E-Y, as that which is hunted. So here, the Torah-informed nation provides for itself. It produces all these things. It's really about, hey, what a blessing this woman is. You're not going to go hungry if you do this. And that is, if you think about the Torah and the requirements that the Torah put on the nation, it really had to be a hard-working nation. Yeah, you take off one day a week. That's what it is. And the rest of the time, you better work, and you get out there, and you be diligent, and you find, you be an entrepreneur, and you find ways to be a blessing to your family and take care of your family. And, look for those who are less fortunate from time to time and take care of them as well. And so you see this here. She riseth while it is also yet night and giveth meat to her household and a portion to her maidens. So not only she takes care of herself, she takes care of her household, she takes care of her maidens. This is the nation that God created. It was not a nation on dependency, but a nation that provided for itself in a land that God provided for them. You think even about the manna. The manna didn't fall on their plate. They woke up in the morning and there was their breakfast plate with some banana bread. Did anyone get that? Thank you. Some banana bread and for breakfast, and all the various things that you could have, stuffed manna, fried manna, they had to go out and get it. And this was Torah life for them. So, a hardworking nation he was going to create. Verse 16 is the Hebrew letter Zayin is at the beginning of it. And it gives us, she considereth a field and buyeth it. With the fruit of her hands she planteth a vineyard. God gives the land. She's going to get out and work it. She's going to take care of it. Again, this is the nation that God wanted to create. And it's a beautiful thing. We go on. She girdeth her loins with strength and strengtheneth her arms. The letter Heth in the alphabet, it is, what are we at? The eighth letter of the Hebrew alphabet. But notice, girdeth her loins, in fact, girdeth her loins with strength. One of the things I think, again, we don't see very well is how much of a militaristic woman this is. Lot of valor, strength, gird your loins, feed him the prey. This, if I might say so, is no dainty woman. You know, she's not having a spot of tea in her petticoat. This is a woman who girds up her loins. That is the language that would be used of a warrior. Kind of strange here that you carry this out. I think there's a little degree, it gets weird to go into this, but there's a little degree in which you could even say, if you wanted to, because we've applied this book to Rehoboam all the way through. There's a way in which you could say the Proverbs 31 woman is Rehoboam. Now, it doesn't work in our mind, and poetically, it doesn't completely work, but it is very much, hey, you are to develop a strong, independent, self-sufficient nation. And Torah is going to guide you to do that. And if she's going to be all these things, you are going to be all these things. You are part of her. So gird up your loins like a man. And that's what this woman is going to do. She girdeth up her loins with strength and strengtheneth her arms. You know, I mean, every guy wants a woman who can beat him in arm wrestling, right? Well, this is just like Song of Solomon. If we were to go through Song of Solomon, obviously same writer, if we were to go through Song of Solomon and look at, you remember, we've gone through it before and you've read it before, there are some things in Song of Solomon that describe a woman, you know, and you're like, ooh, that is one ugly woman, I'm telling you. You know, her neck's like a tower and her teeth are like goats or whatever it is. Her hair's like a flock of goats. There we go. And all the descriptions that it gives, because it's describing the land, not the woman. And it's using the woman in this sort of stand in to help make it poetic, help us to picture it. I think that's what we've got here of the nation. This is a nation which, in its Torah strength, will gird up her loins with strength and strengthen in her arms. Carrying out then the wisdom that is in Torah, we come to Taith is the next letter, and it is the ninth letter of the Hebrew alphabet. In verse 18, she perceiveth that her merchandise is good; her candle goeth not out by night. Once again, she's got some insight. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and wisdom has a lot of perception into it. She knows she's got some good merchandise. She made it. She's got it ready. She's got it for sale. She knows what she's got. She knows she's got something that the world needs. Her candle or her lamp goeth not out by night. It's a picture of industry, perhaps. But it could also be, because the word right there for candle is the word menorah. The menorah is, of course, that which is in the temple. You know, is there some carryover here? Solomon built the temple. He put the menorahs in the temple. And to say this, you know, her menorah goeth not out by night, is a beautiful thing. That here is a woman, so to speak, who provides something good for her family, for her maidens. We'll even see eventually for the rest of the world. She's living out Torah. So already I think you can see Torah is sometimes seen as a curse, as a burden, as, oh, these things we've got to do just out of obedience. Lord says jump, and we have to say how high, and that's our... What he gave them in the Torah is how to be a successful nation. I remember a book years ago. Now, I want to let me give a footnote here before we even go. I do recognize that we are not under the law. I am a right dividing teacher, and the law is not ours. We're not in the dispensation of the law. But I read a book years ago by Elton Trueblood. Some of you have heard of Elton Trueblood. I wouldn't agree with a lot of things Elton Trueblood said when he wrote it back in the, I don't know, 30s, 40s, 50s. He was, what did he have? I've forgotten his background. Wasn't Mennonite, but something, Quaker perhaps, something along those. It was a little bit spiritualistic. And he certainly would spiritualize some things and not necessarily get them under the right dispensation. But he did have some good insight. He wrote a book right after World War II, and he called it Foundations for Reconstruction. He was talking about how do we reconstruct Europe, Japan, how do we remake these nations? What is the foundation for reconstructing Germany? And he went through just the 10 Commandments. And he wrote really a marvelous and a wise little book about what kind of society to build which would be successful. Someday I'm going to go back, I've got the book, I'm going to go back and study that and see how much of that did the mostly American, but you could say the Allies, when we did rebuild Germany, at least Western Germany, and we did rebuild Japan, and they did really become very different nations than they were. How much of it was based upon Judeo-Christian values? And our society back then instilled Judeo-Christian values, Western civilization, into them. How much, and I bemoan this fact in my forthcoming book, American Christianity, about how much Calvinism has crept in and affected, I think, in a negative way, American society. But if you begin to say, how come American society is, if I can say it this way, so much better than all the other ones? And if you don't believe that, just go live in some of the other countries for a while. And you'll see, wow, America, the United States of America really has done it right. How come we're so far ahead? And so, could it be that all those, this is a fringe benefit of error, all that legalism and Calvinism that got brought in because our forefathers didn't understand the dispensation of grace, was living Torah. And certainly the Puritans would have said, live Torah. And that in a sense, a small sense, the United States became the Proverbs 31 woman. I think if you read some of these things in the best days of our history, now granted, the best days of our history, we probably inflated how good they really were. And there's always been, plenty of societal problems, no doubt about that. But just these few verses already that we've looked at, if we're talking about it as a nation, she rises also while it is yet night, gives meat to her household, a portion to her maidens, considers a field and buys it. With the fruit of her hand she plants a vineyard. She girdeth her loins with strength and strengtheneth in her arms. She perceiveth that her merchandise is good. Her candle goeth out at night. All these things, we can see them when we see them in the sense of the United States. Because that's easier for us than Israel. We haven't lived in Israel. We don't know Israel, any of that. So we can kind of see this. And we often take the United States and see the United States as a woman. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. So looking at this, not that it's about the United States, but looking at it, saying a nation that lives according to Judeo-Christian principles as expressed in the Torah, there's some built-in blessing there. And someday Israel is going to embody that blessing for the nation, even going beyond that because of the prophetic strength of this passage. Okay, now let's jump into verse 19, which is, where are we? the Hebrew letter yod. Yod is just, it looks like an apostrophe in English. And as we come to it, it's in verse 19. She layeth her hands to the spindle, and her hands hold to the distaff. Has to do with creating yarn and weavings and all these kind of things. The picture is ordered, beautiful, productive, making it, taking something that is not all that useful, like a cotton bowl, and making it into, wow, you got thread. Those threads came together and wove into cloth. That cloth thing came together and, made a fine suit. There you go. And it gives that picture today. By the way, this is totally free. I learned just this morning that it was a woman at her spindle that invented the circular saw. She saw that thing going round and round and round, and she saw the men out there pulling, reciprocating back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and she thought, those guys are dumb. Half the time, saw's not working. It's just getting back to a position. Let's make one that goes like this. And she changed woodworking forevermore. At least if the YouTube video was right. Now let's go on into verse 20, the Hebrew letter kaf. So we would pronounce it like cough. And it is in verse 20. She stretcheth out her hand to the poor, yea, she reacheth forth her hand to the needy. Again, I think we could go through Torah so many times and say, that's exactly what it teaches you to do. And the people, the covenant people, any people that live according to Torah, they are going to take care of the poor. They're going to take care of the needy. But also, I might mention, it is going to be the kind of a society where there's not nearly as many poor. There's not nearly as many needy. Because society-wide, they are living the Torah. And when there are poor and needy amongst you, it's the law that had the gleaning provisions and whatnot, that excuse me, that would take care of them. And I get all choked up just thinking about it. And we've got the law that has lifted them up already. When a catastrophe happens and you've got poor and needy, they were going to be there for one another. This is, again, the nation of Israel. Verse 21, she's not afraid of the snow for her household. All her household are clothed with scarlet. It's the letter M. Mem, I should say. Our equivalent is the M. The letter Mem. And one of the things already I think you begin to see is this is not something that necessarily outlines very well because it's poetry. It's going through the alphabet. So just like, you've seen before, grace, God's riches at whatever, I don't know how all that, Christ's expense, I think. God's riches at Christ's expense. Okay, you sort of go through and you say, okay, what could work here? What could work here? What could work here? And all true, but not necessarily in any order. So the Mem, followed by Nun, is the letter, our equivalent to the letter N. She maketh herself coverings of tapestry. Her clothing is silk and purple. This is the royal bride, made ready for her husband. She she is able to carry through in a beautiful way. Verse 23, let's see, verse 24 actually. No, verse 23, I jumped ahead there, didn't I, on my letters, is the letter Nun. Her husband, who's that? Well, if indeed this is about Israel, this is the Lord. Her husband is known in the gates when he sitteth among the elders of the land. It's a place of honor for him. And the nation of Israel is going to come to honor her husband, the Lord. Even the Jewish people would say, hey, yeah, this is about how we are going to be when Messiah comes. It's a description of ultimately of the nation of Israel as it will be under Messiah, as it can be, as they're living out the Torah. Now, of course, right now they cannot live out the Torah. Samech is the next letter, verse 24. She maketh fine linen and selleth it, and delivereth girdles unto the merchants. Okay, we don't talk much like that anymore, but it's all the sign of an entrepreneur, the sign of someone working diligently. Ayin, verse 25, strength and honor are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come. Okay, here we have again strength. That's a military word, if you will. And honor, really the one of the ways you might translate that word honor is majesty. Here she comes in strength and majesty. That's what she's dressed in. So her fine linen, let other people dress in that. She's got strength and honor. Her inner character is her clothing, and her glory and her brightness. So strength and honor are her clothing. She shall rejoice in time to come. That is, she's able to look to the future, as we'll see in a moment. The Hebrew letter Pei, verse 26. She openeth her mouth with wisdom. Ah, look at that. In fact, let's highlight this a little bit. She openeth her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. Now, that word is Torah right there. In her tongue is the Torah chesed, law of kindness, law of mercy, law of tender mercies. She's got it right here. The beginning of wisdom is the fear of the Lord. She has the fear of the Lord. She looks to the Torah. The Torah leads her to be a very kind, compassionate, loving, hardworking nation. Verse 27. She looketh well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness. We've got the 18th letter of the Hebrew alphabet. And then Kof, not Kof, we had earlier. This is Kof, verse 28. Her children arise up. So we've got here a multi-generational thing. It's not just a blip in the radar. Her children rise up and call her blessed, and her husband also. He praiseth her. You know, I think you could, we won't look there, but Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 17, you could go through and you could say, hey, the Lord is going to come to the place of honoring Israel, carrying her out, and blessing her, saying, hey, look right here. Here is my bride. Verse 29, many daughters have done virtuously, but thou excellest them all. Rosh is the letter here, the 20th letter of the alphabet. And I think there's even some indication in Hebrew. The word for daughters here can be nations. There's a lot of the other nations that have done virtuously, but no one better than you. Thou excellest them all. Verse 30, the shin. Favor is deceitful, beauty is vain. A woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised. Now, that comes full circle, doesn't it? As I've already mentioned, chapter 1, verse 7. The beginning of wisdom is the fear of the Lord. The woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised. And carried out there in verse 30. And then the very last letter of the alphabet, the Tav, give her the fruit of her hands. This right here, give her, is the only imperative in the poem. The rest is all descriptive. But it comes down to the end, and almost as if it looks to the world, and it says, give her the fruit of her hands. You honor her. You praise her. You celebrate her. You pay her price for her merchandise that she produces. Give her the fruit of her hands. And let her own, what have we got there? Works praise her in the gates. Someday Israel is going to get the fruit of her hands. And for Israel, it is going to be the fruit of her gates that is going to be her honor, because this is not a grace-based chapter. This is a law-based chapter. And there is certainly a sense in which you can look at this chapter, and I know some of you women know better than we men do, because you've had the chapter preached to you for Mother's Day. And it goes like this. Happy Mother's Day, everyone. I want you to turn to Proverbs 31, beginning in verse 10. And going down through these 22 verses, here's what I would like to say to you. Work hard, work early, work long, work late, work some more, work for yourself, work for your family, work for others, work for the Lord, work for me, work in the midday, work in the noontime, work at the nighttime, work, and then you shall be praised. Oh, on this Mother's Day, let's give them a hand. We got such good workers, get to work, to the work. Ladies, happy Mother's Day. I know some of you ladies have felt that way, because just reading this kind of makes you out of breath. Like, whoa! Again, you know, let's just back up a little bit. Verse 12. She will do him good and not evil. There's work. She seeketh wool and flax and worketh. She's like merchant ships. She brings her food from afar. She rises while it's yet night. She considers a field and she buys it. She plants a vineyard. She girds her loins. She perceives that her merchandise is good. Her candle doesn't go out. She lays her hand to the spindle. She holds the distaff. She stretches her hand to the poor. She's not afraid of the snow. She got her family clothed because she worked. That's what it says. So, we got two ladies in here. Get to work. Be the Proverbs 31 woman. Come on, work. Bring me some food. Work. Now, obviously, I exaggerated just a little bit, but I don't think I exaggerated much. This is a works chapter, and it says so at the very end. If you didn't pick it up, give her the fruit of her hands. Let her own works praise her in the gates. Luca, find the passage for me, if you will, that speaks about those who are clothed in fine linen at the in the book of the Revelation, and tells what that fine linen is made of. If you can find that for me, I didn't think of it till now. But we'll put it in there. And we'll put these two together and say, hey, Israel someday is going to be clothed in her works and will receive the works of her hands, the fruit of her hands, and her works will praise her. Revelation 19, beginning in verse 7. Let us be glad and rejoice and give honor to him, for the marriage of the Lamb is come. His wife hath made herself ready. Now, we continue. To her was granted that she should be arrayed in fine linen, clean and white, for the fine linen is the righteousness of the saints. Righteousness, made herself ready, works. This is not a grace-based passage. It's a works passage. And that's okay, because that's where we find it. It's where it belongs. It's describing a nation that's supposed to be under Torah. So Solomon works his way through the book, and he says to Rehoboam, you know, hey, you're a Torah king, you're a covenant king. Here's how to carry out all the things that you are supposed to carry out. This is what you're supposed to do. And in the end, if you do this, this is the nation that you will produce. And it's a nation which honestly is a very beautiful nation, and will be carried out in that way. Now, with that, you have a different view, perhaps, than you have seen before of Proverbs 31. I would say that you can, if you want an actual Mother's Day sermon on this, you can you can find mine. Let's see here, and I'll show you where it is here. Here we go. And if you go to Worshipify, it looks like this right now on mine. Yours will probably look different. And just type unlearn. There we go. In the unlearning, there's one here, Proverbs 31. There you go. In fact, unlearning the Proverbs 31 woman. There you go. You can click on that. Here's the standard view and its problems. Where's the man's list? You know, the Proverbs 31 woman. Where's the Proverbs 32 man? Where is he? Here's another proposal. And I've given this proposal that this is the description of Israel. Now, one of the things I have here is, give me the evidence. And that's not the standard view. The person who doesn't have the standard view owes it to you to say, okay, here's the evidence. One piece of evidence I'll give you right now, and you can listen to that sermon if you'd like, but one piece of evidence I'd give you now is that we have not found an actual woman anywhere in the book of Proverbs. Every woman we've seen has been a metaphor. Why would we come to Proverbs 31 and say, here's the actual woman? The women before, and the two most prominent women were Lady Wisdom and Lady Folly, as we called them. And they were the embodiment of certain things, wisdom and foolishness, if you will, Torah wisdom and walking away from Torah wisdom. They were the embodiment of that, and so you see some of those things that are given right there. But here is this Proverbs 31 woman. Well, I hope that is helpful to you. And let me say also that you might, let's see, if you are, if you happen to be watching, looking at that sermon and you say, oh, what else can I do? You could go to randywhiteministries.org. Again, this screen will change a little bit, but just click the events button right there. It has the 11th annual Labor Day Bible Conference and Retreat, tells about it right there, and I'm happy to tell you even more about it. And I've got, if I can get to it, there we go, I would love to drop this in the mail to you, Systematic Theology, a Biblical Literalist Approach. It's the book that I'm working on for Branson, and we'll be talking about the identity of Christ, the person of the Holy Spirit, or not. We'll see. And we are going to talk about the Holy Spirit. Will we talk about him in personhood terms? We'll see. And bibliology, this is the chapter here that I'm sending out absolutely free. It's got a little bit of an advertisement on there for Branson, for the book and for Branson. I'm taking off Fridays this summer, in part to work on this. So I won't be on tomorrow, Ask the Theologian. But you request one of those if you haven't already gotten one. Just send me an email, randy@randywhiteministries.org. Would love to see you in Branson. We always have a great time in Branson. It's a friendly time, it's a fellowship time, it's a family reunion time, it's a learning time, and we go home looking forward to the next one, and is a blessing. Okay, let me say hi to you before we cut out tonight and go, and thank you very much for being here with us. If you haven't put in your hello, go ahead and do it now. It'll be a blessing. Those of you who watch us on the archives, I know that's so many of you, and many others, like I talked to, I don't know, Brian, and down in Huntsville, Alabama. He says, I'm there every single time, but I'm like software working in the background. You know, I never log in. That's so many of you. I'm good with it, but hey, if you're around and want to say hello, I'd love to say hi to you. Like our friend Everett there in Sholo, Arizona, good to see you. The Giles family down in Forney, Texas, Auburn, Kentucky, Keith and Carla, good to see you. Thank you. It looks like it might stop raining in Auburn, Kentucky. That'd be nice to have some sun there, wouldn't it? Except you'll have to mow after that. We're hoping for some rain. Marilyn and Roger, good to see you. Wabasha, Minnesota, thank you. Jim in Piedmont, South Carolina, welcome. God bless you. Chris, I'm going to come back to your question here in just a moment. And Chuck in Louisiana. I got to rightly divide my Chucks. We got more than one. Chuck in Louisiana, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. And Eric in Ohio, God bless. Good to see you. Carol and Roger, Fresno, California. Good to see you. Sherry and Herb in Natchez, Mississippi. Oh, at the Pecan Growers Conference. Well, I am sure you'll meet some New Mexicans there, because we're the #2 producer in the country for pecans. So you tell those New Mexican pecan growers, get themselves up to Taos and go to America's Greatest Tiny Church. There we go. Jennifer, Charlotte, Vermont, good to see you. We've enjoyed having your daughter here. Thanks for allowing us to borrow her. And you'll get to see her handiwork, all of you, on Sunday, because we got the train. You might have seen part of it last night, but it's full, shiny, ready to go, right? Almost full, shiny. Okay, we still got to put some coal in the engine or something like that, but very nice. And thanks for doing that. And then Isaiah and Natalie been working on all that too, and even Lucas helped a little bit. Debbie and Daryl, good to see you in Crystal Springs, Mississippi. God bless. Jody and Rich, Pensacola, Florida. We appreciate the help you gave. Isaiah's giving you a hand here. Appreciate that. They're back home tonight. And Phil and Dreama, Lexington, Kentucky. Welcome. Thanks for being here. Nicholas in Bolingbrook, Illinois. Glad you are here. And Alan in Portland. Welcome. What was that last week? The protest didn't carry you away, I guess. You know, I'm sure Portland had some big ones. Taos, too. We got the same kind of people in Taos and Portland, so I feel your pain. Pueblo, West Colorado, 105 degrees, Nancy says. Oh, and celebrating 55 years of marital bliss today. Happy anniversary to you. What is today? It's like the 19th? Oh, it's Juneteenth. Yeah. I was married in Pueblo, Colorado a few years later on the 25th of June. And it was like 105 degrees that day, too. June's hot in Pueblo. It was a hot day. Moving on. Kim and Roger, good to see you out in Kansas. Hope you're doing well. Burden, Kansas, welcome. Jeff in Trinidad, Colorado. Probably not quite as hot in Trinidad as Pueblo, because Trinidad's closer to New Mexico. Cash, good to see you. Thanks for being here. And how come I always forget that, Cash? Indiana, maybe? Christ New Creature in Ohio, good to see you. Cliff up in Ontario, welcome. Good to see you again tonight. And let's see, Tim and Jan in Omaha, Nebraska, welcome. Good to see you. Thanks, Jennifer. So refreshing to understand Proverbs 31 in its proper context. It doesn't make near the beat him up over the head kind of Mother's Day sermon, though, does it? Had a question come in. Let me see, because it relates. I want to take it here tonight. Did Rehoboam neglect what Solomon told him then regarding Proverbs, that in the end, that it led to the separation between Israel and Judah, which still exists to this day? Yes, and actually, we're going to get into that next week in the closing session, the summary session for the book of Proverbs. I want to look at a little bit, it will a little bit be a Bible study of Rehoboam, because so much of the book is, hey, Rehoboam, do this, do this, do this, do this, that, you know, the inquiring minds want to know, what did he do? I mean, we all kind of know, in the advanced class anyway, we all kind of know, okay, yeah, he, the kingdom split up, but could have been any number of people's fault, you know, what happened? And we're going to find that out 1 week from today. Thank you very much. I appreciate each one of you being here again on this night, and God bless you. I got Isaiah giving me, you know, he's the boss around here. Don't forget, we have Bible school starts on Monday. Thanks, boys and girls. And we're looking forward to a nice crew here. But it won't affect next week's broadcast. Oh, it will. It'll affect next Wednesday night. We'll not have Wednesday night, but we will have everything else next week. Glad you reminded me. We will have Thursday night. We'll have Ask the Theologian Monday through Thursday, and have a good time with all that. Well, how about if I lead us in a word of prayer before we go from here tonight? Heavenly Father, thank you for allowing us to join around the great big electronic table to see this poetic acrostic that has been given here, that has been so misunderstood and so misused and put a lot of people under a great burden. Even if it was used not just for women, but used for a nation. Also, there's so many things that if we think this would bring our righteousness, we would be sorely confused, because we're not under the age of the law as they were then. But coming to close out this book of Proverbs and having an understanding of what it says to us, its poetic beauty as well as its philosophical beauty, and the worldview that it gives has been refreshing to us. And we pray that we got it right, dear Heavenly Father, and what we didn't, that we'll get straightened out in our minds right away, and that which we did get right, that we'll remember for many years to come as we come from time to time and read the book of Proverbs. We ask it in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you very much for your blessings. I appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you again soon, and it'll be a blessing. Thanks for those of you who click the donate button from time to time. That's always a blessing in these summer months and any time. And we'll see you at randywhiteministries.org. God bless.